Hey everyone, Joseph Onesta, type 2 mentor here, and I'm working on the secrets of blood sugar control. And this is the second video in that series. The first was about plating your food and why that's important. This second one is about looking at that plate of food and identifying the carbs. Now, you probably have seen these wonderful commercials somewhere online where these very fit people are telling you, you don't have to give up carbs. You don't have to cut your carbs. You could eat, and then they eat something that's disgusting, like a corn curl or something. Anyway, let's talk about that. Whether or not you need to cut the carbs and why we're going to identify the carbs and why we want to cut them. Oh, anyway, look, it's not as bad as you think it is, but let's get to it. The reason that carbs are an issue is that carbs are immediately converted into blood glucose, blood sugar, when you eat them. There's nothing else for your body really to do with them. So when your body converts them into blood sugar, your blood sugar goes up, oh, spike. Then your pancreas says, uh-oh, we need more insulin. And if you're injecting insulin, you know the more carbs you eat in that meal, the more insulin you need. It's called your bolus insulin dose. Your body needs a certain amount of insulin all day. That's your basal. But, believe me, most of us who are type 2 diabetic actually have too much insulin in our blood. So, and because that high level of insulin actually breeds insulin resistance. There's like this chicken and egg thing going on with high levels of insulin and insulin resistance, and it just keeps going up and up and up and getting worse and worse and worse. And what we want to do is bring down that insulin so that our body understands that we need less. So what's the easiest way of doing that? Identify the carbs on the plate and cut them. So I'm going to share a picture with you. A little fun thing to do here. I'm going to share a picture with you. There we go. And can you identify the carbs on the plate? Let's see if you can get them all. Okay, so just FYI, this is a biscuit back here. So that's a carb. This is mac and cheese. That's a carb. This is coleslaw, not necessarily a carb in and of itself, but that dressing may have sugar in it. Mashed potatoes, that's a carb. Gravy, it is thickened with something and probably carbs, probably a starch. And fried chicken. Now, I want you to know that you really cannot see any of the protein really on this plate, because this fried chicken, you would say, oh, well, there's the chicken, Joseph. Right. There is protein there, but it's hidden under that breading and deep frying. So when we look at this plate, I'm going to tell you flat out, this plate is 95% carbohydrates. 95%. So when we can identify the carbs, and I mean all of them, we can learn to make decisions. Now, I'll be honest with you, this plate looks delicious to me. And I would not want to give up this breading on the chicken. But I would, if we were let's just say we cut all the carbs in half, and we cut half the mac and cheese, half the mashed potatoes and gravy, half this, half of the coleslaw, half of the biscuit. And how do we cut half of the breading on the chicken? Well, I'm going to trade, right? I might live without the mac and cheese, or I might live without the mashed potatoes in exchange for just keeping this bit of carbohydrate here. But all of these carbohydrates add up. They all add up. So and they are going to send, believe me, this plate looks delicious to me. I would have eaten the entire thing and probably gone back for seconds back in the day. And you know what? Fried chicken still appeals to me. I don't eat very much of it for various reasons, but I don't eat very much of it, but it does still appeal to me. Although my tastes have changed, the mashed potatoes don't really do it for me anymore. So I'm going to stop my share just so we can talk a little bit more face to face. We identify the carbs on the plate and we cut them in half. Now that doesn't leave often, it doesn't leave very much food on the plate. And so what we want to do is increase the good things on the plate, like the protein, and we can add, how about some above ground vegetables? You know, if there was corn on the plate, by the way, because a lot of times corn and mashed potatoes, oh my gosh. But corn is not a vegetable. It's a carbohydrate. It's a grain. So, all right, I cut my carbs in half, and almost immediately, and anybody who is injecting insulin will know that cutting your carbs in half means what? You need less insulin. Less insulin, and your body gets used to needing less insulin. Oh, now we're creating a new normal, and we're bringing down those insulin levels, so that and the way we're doing it, let's be honest, we're cutting the carbs, which means our sugar is spiking less, meaning our sugar is going to come down. So be careful if if you're not injecting insulin and not measuring and counting carbs and all those sorts of things. I don't count carbs, but people who are injecting insulin have to be aware of that. So if that's not you, and you're taking medications like a sulfonylurea that will cause low blood sugar, you need to be aware of that. But anyway, cut the carbs. That's one of the big values of plating everything we eat. Thanks so much. Joseph Onesta, type 2 mentor here, not doctor, not research scientist, just a guy, clinical hypnotist who's reversed his own diabetes and lost 100 pounds. And listen, if you want to buy that program where that beefy guy is telling you could eat carbs, this is going to kill your metabolism. If you want to buy that program, go right ahead. And if you get frustrated, then come back and look at my video.